Will it work?
Okay. Because I want to be able to see my outline and then also see my cards. I'll try.
Do you want to set the computer down on the table?
Are you?
Because if I'm doing,
The mouse
well, it'll just work.
Okay. Ready?
Okay. Okay. Who wants a job? Anyone? There you go. Now, how easy is it to get that job? Any potential employee would want to have insider information. This would give them the edge over the other applicants, and I have that knowledge for you. Many of you know of my career at Sonic, and one of my jobs was to hire new employees. I have hired thousands of people in my career, and I have seen all walks of life apply at my drive-in. I have become an expert in hiring. So, it is hard to see a diamond in the rough. The exceptional employers must have a system in the hiring. The system must be fair, legal, accurate, and get to know the person in a short amount of time. So I will let you in on the hiring process today. By giving you this insider knowledge, you will know what to do before the application, during the interview, and what the employer is evaluating. Let me tell you about two different applicants. One got a job offer that turned into a career with success, and the other never got a foot in the door. Okay. When I met Philip for the first time, he had rode his bicycle to pick up an application. When looking at his application, I noticed he was from Billings. He had rode his bicycle from Billings, 6 miles each way, Billings to Republic. He wanted to work at Sonic because of roller skating and that he liked the food. He had the motivation and the drive, things the employers are looking for. At 15, I gave him his first job. Riding his bicycle after school to work, he showed up every day, every shift. By 18, he had made management. He was qualified before the age of 18, but because of age, we had to wait. At 19, he received the opportunity of getting his own store. Now, this is unheard of in Sonic. Usually, 19-year-olds do not have the enough experience or motivation in handling a store, and he received $1 million store. So, but he did. So he was the diamond in the rough. The next type of potential employee pushes the red button, says, I want an application. This type of employee has already missed the opportunity in meeting the hiring manager, and he's already given his first impression. Lack of motivation. So, when you go before the interview process, or when you first arrive at your interview, you will be greeted by what we call as the gatekeeper. This is the person that you go through before you get to the actual hiring manager. This person will, make a judgment of you, but they will also tell tell the hiring manager all the things that you have done before they got there, their first impression. This person, you should always be respectful. You should be patient with them. Do not try to intrude on them, or, make yourself not in their face, but into there. Be aware of your surroundings. You don't want to sit with your back to the door or put your feet up on the table. You have to be on your best behavior. So be early to show the initiative, that you can be on time. This directly relates to, and having your job, the employer will, if you're late to an interview, the employer will think that you are going to be late for your job. The applicant's part, you need to be prepared to answer questions. That's what the interview process is. You should have some pre-prepared answers, but also have some answers, in case they ask. Always, about your education, your work experiences, but items like long absences in employment or those kind of things, the employer will want to know, what was that. So, let's see here. Now, after, most employers do. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. Let's somebody. The diamond in the rough. Do research on the company before you get there. This shows that you want to work there, that you have knowledge, that you can ask questions, and make sure that this is the best fit for you. So, then only talk about when answering the question. Talk about what is relevant. So, if the employer doesn't ask, then don't volunteer information. So. During the interview, you're face-to-face with the employer. This is your one shining moment to sell yourself. Your body language, says volumes about, either your confidence, your lack of confidence, what you can and cannot do. Confident gestures would be walking erect, when your palms are open. This is an open, inviting kind of thing. Tilting of your head, showing interest. Defensiveness, crossing your arms, pointing or squinting, can make the other person feel that you're closed. Nervous would be crossed ankles, twirling your hair, rocking or clenching your hands. No. Attire, you do not want to overdress for the company. You want to dress like they do. If you cannot do that, at least do business professional. It shows that you did have effort in wanting to be presentable for the interview process. So the employers will ask you questions. The questions have to be legal for them to ask you. They cannot ask you about race, color, sex, religion, national organ, your birthplace, age, disability, or marital status. These are all because you could be disqualified, not for one of these, but if they disqualified you for this, then you could have a legal action against them. They can ask questions around these questions. They could ask you, are you 18 years or older to qualify you to work? But they can't directly ask you, what is your age? During the interview process, they're just trying to see if you're a fit. They want to see, they want you to, you should sell your strengths, minimize your weaknesses, and do not lie. It will always come out in the end. Your resume, it should be short and sweet. This is the employer perspective after you've left the interview. The volume of resumes that you can receive per job is 100 to 500 resumes. Your resume will get about 45 seconds worth of looking at, so you need to keep it to the point. The average time to hire one person, if you count the 45 seconds on each resume, the 8 to 15 phone calls, the 4 to 5 people interviews, is about 40 work hours if you didn't do anything else. So the handwritten thank you is always a good idea because it shows effort. It shows that you took the time, you thank them for their time, and you can always, if you get a rejection letter from them, ask them, you can ask them why, ask them, was there more qualifications, is there anything I can do differently for my next interview, is there anything that would better qualify me in the future for your company, and then they'll think about that person, be like, that person really does care or want a job. But the handwritten note shows the appreciation, it gives them a reminder of who you are, and shows that you did the extra step. So, and asking questions to the employer, is always a good thing. It will show you that you have you paid attention during the interview. You can articulate and have a conversation. So, employers do not like fake effort. They do not like people to fake sincerity. The Eddie Haskells of the world. Employers have seen enough. They know if you're sincere or not. They're trying to view you like the customer would view you, and the customer would not appreciate that. So do not bring or send gifts. It's a job interview, not a date. So, what not to wear, the employer will judge you on what you are wearing. You don't want to wear anything that would be over the top, like this to a job interview, anything with racial slurs, demonic themes, inappropriate style, showing too much leg, too much cleavage is just not acceptable because that's the way they will view you. So, and the best way to get the interview is to be recommended by the employee that already works there. So that employee can vouch for your character versus your personality. And that's one of those things where everybody will sell you the personality, but you have to live with the character, and then want to make sure that you are a good fit. And hopefully this will lead to your job offer. So, this was the insider knowledge of the employer. By using these tips, they will make you a better candidate for your next job. Today I've shared with you what to do before the interview, during the interview, and the employer perspective. So remember the hopeful employee who rode 6 miles each way after going all day to school? He had the ambition for more. He was the diamond in the rough. The other hopeful employee who sat in their car, pushed the red button, waited for somebody to bring him the application, did not have the ambition for more. He was just a lump of coal. So do you want to be on the bike or pushing the button?